But we just met, so I started people's origin stories. Tell me about yourself. Where were you born and raised?
Well, I was born and raised. Actually, I've never even been out of Washington. I've been here all my life, Seattle. This is all I know is Seattle. So I've been homeless for about 10 years. But now I finally got the tiny home, so I'm getting housing now, so which is good. So I'm finally able to really get off the streets. They got showers, all that good stuff. So
nice.
I'm a lot in a better place right now.
Congratulations! It's a big
Thank you.
deal.
Oh yeah,
it's a big deal. Tell me about your home life. Who'd you grow up with?
Well, my mom died of a drug overdose when I was 10, and I had two younger sisters, but they both ended up passing away. One just ended up passing away like 2 weeks ago, which was hard, and she was like my best friend. She lived down in Seattle too, and they ended up growing up in foster care, but I ended up going back with my dad because I was an angry kid at 10 years old that, you know, my mom died and then they pulled me away from my dad. So I just got in a lot of trouble, so they just sent me back with my dad. So my sisters grew up in foster care, but I grew up with my dad.
With your dad?
Yeah. My dad's in Eastern Washington. He's basically the only family I got left.
Gotcha. But when growing up, your mom raised you?
And yeah, she died when I was 10.
And obviously you remember that.
I just remember that year, yes.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I got a 10-year-old daughter, and like that's a huge loss.
Yeah. I remember coming home on the school bus. I remember this vividly, and I just see my house surrounded by ambulances and police. You know what I mean? And my uncle met me at the bus stop, and he said, "Hey, you got to come with me." And then he explained to me, and I'm 10 years old, so I'm not really comprehending what's going on. You know, it takes a while to accept that death is forever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially at 10 years old.
Yeah. I hear that, and like that's a major traumatic event.
Absolutely. Never having your mom since 10 years old. I'm almost 50.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. What was she like? Tell me about her.
Well,
if you remember.
I remember very. It's hard because, like I said, it's almost 40 years ago. So
yeah, of course.
Of
course.
I barely even remember what she looks like except from pictures, but
yeah.
I just knew she was. See, when I was young, I didn't know what drug addicts really had to go to. Which my mom was a drug addict, of course. But see, my dad, he's never done drugs, never smoked a cigarette in his life. My dad's the total opposite of my mom. So I mean, I didn't start doing drugs until I was like 38.
Oh, really late in life.
Yeah, I mean, I always had a job, had my car, had my own place. As soon as I started doing drugs, and pretty much it was over a woman that I started doing drugs. My choice, but bad choice. And I lost everything so quick.
Yeah.
It was fast.
Yeah, power of addiction.
Yes.
Could just.
Yeah, and when you're sitting there worried about the drugs, you know, the bills are just coming, and you know they don't stop coming.
Nope. They don't stop coming. That's right. Let's get there. But I'm curious about you're 10. You go to your dad's house. You're trying to process this. I mean, not only that your mom passed away. Now, the place you lived.
Yeah.
You were taken out of there as well.
But that was actually better for me because my mom, she had drug dealers living in her house.
Gotcha.
It was just a bad environment for kids to be in.
Right.
My dad, it was a much better place for us to be. He worked at Boeing. He had plenty of money to take care of us. So.
I see. Gotcha.
There ain't another man on this earth that love more than my dad. You know what I mean? He's been there for me. You know, more than anybody.
Good. It's good to hear. But yet.
But I can't. He wants me to come to Spokane. I just can't live in Spokane. You know.
Oh, yeah.
It's just unfamiliar for me. I'm just Seattle. This is all I know right here.
You like even to this day he's saying come to Spokane.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Even to this day he's telling me to come over there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But I'm curious. But your sisters went into foster care. Like, why was that?
Because I didn't know that until I was older. But my grandpa molested them when they were kids. He ended up doing prison time. And that's why they're in foster care because they had a lot of more traumatic stuff going than, and I never even knew about it. You know, they kind of hid it from me. Everybody hid it from me. You know, of course you don't want to tell the kids what's going on, but I didn't end up knowing that till later on in life. And you know, they ended up sending him to prison. I think he ended up going to Walla Walla. And then they ended up coming out of foster care like when they were like 16, 17. You know, what happened is they just kept on running away and kept on running to my dad's house. And they finally foster care said, you guys are 17, you know what?
They age out. And
yeah, pretty much.
It doesn't look good for a lot of kids who go through that foster care system. When they're age out, it doesn't look good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so. Well, let's see. So you go to high school and do school?
Yeah, I only finished the 10th grade and I went to foster in Tukwila when I was living with my dad. But at that point, he was kind of struggling to pay the bills, so I just got a job and just quit school and just, try to help my dad out as much as I could.
Started working.
Yeah.
So tell me about what were you doing? What were you working on?
Well, I was still young at that point. So I started off working like at Pizza Hut and stuff like that. And then once I got at the age of 18, then I started working at Office Depot driving forklifts. And I drove for many companies forklifts. So I drove a lot of forklifts in warehouses. So I worked from Home Furniture to Moore to Stockpot, which is Campbell Food Company. No, that's up in Everett.
Gotcha. And into your teens and 20s, what's going on in your 20s?
Actually, I did a lot of drinking in my 20s. I don't drink no more. I haven't drank in like 7, 8 years, but I did a lot of drinking when I was younger. Me and my best friend Joe, we just get a bottle, and I was living with my dad at the time. I was probably like 22 or something, and we just go get a bottle, and we just go down to the bums under the bridge and just start drinking with them. Just being young, and they want booze, you know what I mean? So, but we were just young kids.
Yeah. I mean, there's a point where we all kind of experiment. We all kind of are curious.
Yeah, just go down there and hang with them. You know what? Nobody else wants to hang with them. We'll hang with them. You know what I mean?
And this is in what part of town?
This is in Kent.
Oh, in Kent. Gotcha. But you started at some point. You said you were working, job.
Oh, that's when I had my first kid. I had my first kid at 23.
Oh, young.
Yeah. So I got a 22-year-old right now.
Oh, gotcha. And with just a partner, or did you marry and do all that stuff?
Well, I was with his mom for about 5 years. I have 3 kids by 3 different women. So, and my youngest is 7, and my middle child like 13, and I got a 22-year-old.
Gotcha. You in contact with kids?
I try, but I'm still ashamed of what I've done. You know what I mean? So, I Facebook them and stuff like that.
Tell me more about that. What do you mean?
Starting this whole drug life, it just, and then I losing my sisters, and it just got harder from there. You know what I mean? Especially losing both of them. I couldn't believe I lost my youngest sister just a couple weeks ago, and I'm still dealing with that.
Yeah,
big time.
Grief, it's a process.
I mean, I just sit there and just bawl sometimes. You know what I mean?
Sure. Tell me about. You said you started experimenting with at 38.
Yeah, that's when I started.
And so tell me about that process.
Well, like I said, it was all over a female.
Yeah,
all over a female. She started doing drugs, so I figured,
I see.
I'll do drugs and get closer to her, you know what I'm saying?
And what was the drug of choice at that time?
Methamphetamines.
Oh, gotcha. And you never done that before?
Never done it.
Wow.
But I was in love with this chick, so.
Yeah. Sometimes we do.
And then she got clean us over, and I just kept going.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And you lost everything.
Yeah.
You became unhoused at that time?
As soon as I lost my house at that point, well, one of my daughter's grandpa let me stay with him for a while, and then once everybody because I tried to hide drugs at first, you know what I mean? So, but once everybody found out I was doing drugs, then I was pretty much out of there.
Gotcha. So, a question I like to ask people is there anything you want to say to the people of Seattle?
Man, seriously, we really got to do the thing. Something about this Betty, though.
Yeah,
I don't know if you've looked at it, but man, if everybody that's been doing petty, their legs are so messed up. So there's something totally wrong about this whole situation. Even when heroin was around, heroin never did that.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, literally, I've seen people's legs look like they're about to fall off.
Yeah, I've seen some pretty infected, gnarly looking.
Absolutely,
sores.
and it affects their legs. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because they fall asleep sitting up. I have no idea, but it's affecting almost everybody I know.
Yeah.
So it ain't just like a small group of people. It's everybody that's doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, so when you kept doing meth, that's just you kept doing that?
Yeah. And then I went on to heroin. Well, first I started with pills because I got injured at work. That's how my opiate addiction really started, because I was getting like 80 Percocets every 2 weeks. So, and then I got cut off that, and then I was looking for pills on the street, and I couldn't find them. So my buddy said, hey, heroin does the same thing. So, and I never knew you could smoke heroin. I thought you had to shoot it. That's how naive I was when it came to drugs. And so he showed me how to smoke it, and then I was doing heroin, and then I remember my best friend Joe I was telling you about? Like a couple years ago, he contacted me, and I went out and moved out to, with him. He lives in Yelm. He has his own house in Yelm. And I got on Suboxone. So I was on Suboxone for 8 months, not doing no drugs. And then when I came back to Seattle, heroin, there was no heroin nowhere.
Fetty, that's right.
Fetty just took over.
Right.
I'd never seen a drug just sweep a city so fast.
Yeah, it's a gnarly drug. I mean, I'm sure you know people who have
absolutely
passed away from
it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I know the effects of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Gotcha. It's good to hear your voice.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing part of your story. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, I appreciate you, buddy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let me. I gotta get that mic. Take a couple photos.
I got a buddy over here that wants to.
Oh yeah. No, I gotta take.